channel and you're stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube should notify you every time I upload a new video, depending on the option that you choose in the drop-down menu of the bell. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links in the description box below. So what do I have going on for you for today? Today I am bringing to you another Christmas tree ornament, a DIY Christmas tree ornament at that, and it is of a wreath with a bow. Oh my word, is this so easy to do. I will be doing this using fondant. I love working with fondant and I have looked for alternative ways to use it outside of cake decorating and cupcake usage because I'm a DIYer and that's where my brain goes. And I have had so much fun making my own ornaments this year that I wanted to share it with you. An alternative to using the fondant would be an air dry clay, but I tell you, when fondant dries, it dries quick, it dries hard, and all you gotta do is spray a sealant on it and it's gonna keep the critters away. And nobody would be none the wiser that you used fondant or clay. I can't wait to show you how quick and easy this wreath is. I love it. It's gonna make an adorable addition to either a gift package this year or my Christmas tree or somebody's Christmas tree. So let's get to DIYing and let me show you how easy it is to work with fondant. Before we get started with today's ornament, I wanted to show you the alternative to using fondant, and that would be something like this here, an air dry modeling clay. You can get this 2-pound block at just about any craft store. I picked this one up at Walmart for $9.88. I picked it up in white because I wanted to have the capability of making several different colors, and you can do that by using an acrylic paint. Just by simply adding the paint to the clay and working it into the clay, you're going to color your clay. You may need to add a bit more color to achieve the brightness or the darkness that you want, because in this case I'm using black, and when I work it into the white clay it starts to turn a bit gray, and so I did find that I needed to add a bit more black to get that nice stark dark black color. This is a bit messy because you are using paint, and so gloves I would say are a must just to kind of protect your hands. And I mean, heck, if you want to finger paint, I say finger paint. But honestly, I had just done my nails and I have been babying my nails over the last couple months because sanitizer has done a deal to my nails. And so I wanted to wear the gloves just to kind of protect them from any harsh chemicals as well too. And just like that, we've colored our air dry clay. To keep this from hardening, you are going to want to put this in a Ziploc baggie and close it, but before closing it you want to get as much as that air out of the bag as you can, and this will last for a few weeks. Now, because I really like to work with fondant because it's so easy to work with, that's what I'm going to be using to make my ornaments. You can find this fondant by Wilton just about anywhere. I found that Walmart had it the cheapest. They had 3 different size boxes ranging from $4.88, $8.88, and $14.88, depending on the amount of fondant that you wanted. I stick with getting white because I found that you can color it very easily by using gel food coloring. By picking up these 2 boxes, you basically got all your colors covered. Now, Wilton does have some pre-made fondant. If you want to go that route, you're going to have to pay a bit more because you need a variety. I find that picking up this box here always comes in handy because mixing browns to me is hard. I either have too much yellow or too much red in them, and so this is kind of a handy box to pick up along with the white fondant. Let's get to DIYing a Christmas wreath ornament. I'm going to start off by taking my fondant. I've added some of the green gel food coloring to it, and I'm just going to work it into my fondant. Now, if you're not getting the color that you want, if it's not dark enough or bright enough, you can add more. I say start off with less and then work your way in, because if you start off with too much, you can't really undo it. And so I can already tell that this is a bit of a lighter green, and so I am going to add a bit more of the green food coloring to it. Alrighty, so we've got our fondant colored. We are ready to make a wreath. So we're going to take a piece of fondant that's about the size of a golf ball. Once you've got it rolled into a ball, you're just gonna place it on a flat surface and you're gonna roll it out the way I am here, kind of making a noodle. And this is gonna be a thicker noodle because we're making a wreath, so we want it to have some substance. We want it to be on the thicker side. And so by taking your fondant and just rolling it out this way, you're gonna make it longer, and you're just gonna keep doing that until you get the length that you need to make a circle for your wreath that you're happy with, if that makes any sense. And you're just gonna keep doing that, and as you do it, it's gonna get thinner, but it's not gonna be as thin as a noodle. If it is, you need to start over and add a bit more fondant because, again, we want our wreath to be thicker. Once we've got it to the length we're happy with, we're just gonna go ahead and take the ends and attach them together. My wreath needs a bow, and to do that, I'm gonna use some red fondant, and to roll it out, yep, I am using some PVC piping because I don't have a fondant roller or really a rolling pin that is a good size to do this. And so I just dug into Jeff's PVC piping for the sprinklers, and this works perfect. We're not gonna be eating this. I'm gonna roll out a sheet that's fairly thin, but not too thin, and using a roller and a pizza cutter, because this is an easy way to get nice straight lines with fondant, I'm gonna cut a couple of strips the width that I want my bow to be. If you want your bow to be thicker, you're gonna cut it wider. Then I'm gonna take some water, because this is the glue that we use. It's a free glue to hold our fondant together, and a paintbrush, and I'm gonna put it on the ends of where my green fondant meets. Then I'm gonna take a red strip and I'm gonna cover up that seam there just by wrapping it around the seam, I guess I should say, and pinching it together in the back. Once I've got it pinched together using my pizza cutter, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut off the excess fondant and just kind of blend it together there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's really gonna be looking at the back. Once we've got that done, you can see that our wreath is kind of taking shape here. I'm gonna cut another strip of red fondant for the bow itself. These bows are pretty easy. If you just take a piece of paper towel and kind of roll it, you're gonna need 2 of these. We're gonna fold the fondant over the paper towel, making the bow to our ribbon. If you don't put the paper towel here, your fondant is gonna kind of collapse and you're not gonna get that puffiness that a bow has. And so by doing it the way you see me doing it here, it's gonna work out, and you're gonna leave this paper towel in there until your fondant hardens. And you're gonna do that on both sides. And again, this is a bow that you can make as big or as little as you want, just by folding it over the way you see me doing here. Then taking some of our free glue, fondant glue, which is water, you're gonna wanna put that in between, I guess, your strips, just to kind of close that up and keep it closed. Once we've got it together, I'm gonna take and just kind of push in the sides here to pinch together the inside of our bow. Again, we're not trying to be perfect. Once we've got it pushed together, I'm gonna take another strip of red fondant, and to cover up that center of the bow and make it look like it was actually tied, I'm gonna wrap it around, pinch it together in the back, then just cut off the excess. This is really very easy to do. I hope you all don't feel intimidated, because I haven't been doing this long and it really wasn't all that hard. So you can see here that I've got a bow. Is my bow completely even? No, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna just put some lines here in the bow, giving it those pleats, I guess, and look at how much that added to the bow just by adding those lines. So again, you can see that the top part of my bow is done, and I am going to leave the paper towel in there until this hardens, and then they'll just come right out. Our bow needs tails, and so again, taking the red fondant, I'm gonna cut a couple of strips, and with those strips on the back of my bow, I'm gonna adhere them on with water. I feel like my tails are a bit too long, so taking my pizza cutter, I'm just gonna shorten them, and I'm gonna cut them at an angle just to give it that nice edge at the bottom. While the bow is kind of hardening up and drying out a bit, I thought now would be a good time to add some texture to our wreath. And to do that, you can very easily do it using some of these smaller scissors. These are ones that I got from the Dollar Tree that are by Crafter's Square. just by putting some snips in the fondant, just like you see me doing here. It doesn't have to be too deep or too wide. It's gonna give it texture and it's gonna give it the illusion that it's a wreath. Pine needles. Now look there, isn't that easy? And look at what it does to it. I love that. Easy little tricks. My bow is hardening up just a bit. It's not completely dry, but I'm gonna go ahead and add some of our water glue to the top and attach the bow. And an easy way to keep those tails in place is just to kind of add a bit of water to those two and glue them into place. I felt like this wreath was just a bit too plain and missing something, so I went ahead and pulled out some of that extra red fondant that I had, and I figured I'd add some holly berries to it. If you add the water to the berries themselves and then place the berries, I found that it was a lot easier to get them into place and have them stick to the wreath. Would you look at how stinking cute that is? I love this. What a fun family project to make your own Christmas ornaments this year. How am I gonna hang this up? I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm gonna use some twine from my stash and hot glue it to the back. Easy peasy. I just wanted to show you another quick ornament real quick. I didn't actually completely finish this, but you'll get the gist of it. To make a Christmas tree, you're gonna take your green fondant, you're gonna roll it into a ball. Again, this is gonna be actually a bit bigger than the size of a golf ball, and you're gonna kind of roll it in your hands in a way that you're gonna make a cone. You're gonna make one end smaller than the other, and you do that just by putting more pressure on the bottom part of your ball and less pressure on the top. That's gonna give you one end that's wider and one end that is more narrow. And you're just gonna kind of roll that out just like so, to make it in the shape of a tree. And this really isn't hard. It just kind of takes a little bit of rolling. Once I've got my tree shaped, I'm gonna go in with my scissors again, and I'm going to cut slits in my tree. When I'm doing the slits on this tree, I'm gonna offset them. You don't want your slits to be all lined up, so you're gonna do your first row of slits, then you're gonna offset them, and you're gonna just kind of slit them where there isn't a slit here, like you see I'm doing here. And you're gonna rotate it and do it again, and you're gonna do that to the entirety of the tree as you go down. And just that easily, look at how fun that tree is. Now, for whatever reason, I never really finished this tree off with twine or berries, but you can do that if you want. I think that this is just such a fun set to have, and you could very easily either poke a hole in the top of this tree while the fondant or clay is still soft before it hardens to add a hanger, or you can just glue some twine to the top. I thought it'd be fun to add just a bit of snow to it, and for snow, I'm using some powdered sugar. To seal these ornaments, I've been using some Acrylon's Crystal Clear. This is an acrylic coating. I gave these ornaments a good coating of this on the front and the back, and honestly, I'm not real worried about the critters getting to them. I think that with this coating, they're gonna be just fine. And here, we've got another set of really fun ornaments, this adorable wreath that I think is such a fun piece to add to your collection of homemade ornaments for the year 2020 or any other year that you might want to do these. If you missed this stinking adorable snowman ornament that I made a couple weeks ago, I will link this video in the description box below in an ornament playlist for 2020, or on the end screen of this video, just tap on the screen on the video and it'll take you right to the tutorial. How fun is that? It is so easy, and the outcome, I love it. It was such a fun piece to make. And who would have thought that you can make Christmas tree ornaments using fondant? I am bringing to you these DIYs because there are so many of us that just aren't into cake decorating, as I am so glad I conquered that fear and that intimidation. I realized that I love working with fondant, but I want to incorporate it into some DIYs, some Dollar Tree DIYs. And Christmas was the perfect time to start bringing it to you because we could DIY our own ornaments with it. I hope you all enjoyed today's DIY wreath ornament, how cute it was. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get this video to 5,000 likes, because like I always say, each and every one of your thumbs up And those comments that you leave down below, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, stay positive and